Hello everyone and welcome to another kit review. This time you've only got myself, not Harry today. I'm doing a smaller, more focused in video, this time on ammunition and on something that's very topical at the moment, copper ammunition. In particular, Barnes TTSX copper bullets. Now the first thing to say is I've only tried a few different copper rounds. I'm not advocating that everyone in the world should switch to copper ammunition. I sort of slightly reluctantly switched to it. I was forced to by our local game dealer, and I sort of saw the writing on the wall probably sort of 18 months or so ago, and started to trial it then. I initially was a bit of a fool. I shoot a 308 and had been shooting 150 grain Sierra Game King bullets. So I thought, without doing a lot of research, I just went out and bought some 150 grain copper bullets because I thought 150 grain lead seemed to work well in my 308. I predominantly shoot fallow, and 150 grain seems to do the job pretty well. So went out and bought some 150 grain copper stuff. The first thing I noticed, which I hadn't really considered, was that the bullet was actually longer, because in order to achieve the same weight in copper as in lead, the bullet has got to be bigger. Which posed a bit of a problem for me because it started to then create compressed loads if I tried to get them up to the same velocity that I was getting my my lead stuff up to. A lot of sort of noise started to then come out in the industry about going lighter, going faster for caliber. So I should say my 150 grain lead stuff had been going about 2,700 feet per second, or 2,800 feet per second, sorry. So I then went down to 130 grain copper bullets, and in the Barnes TTSX. I was driving those again, sort of similar, around 2,800, 2,900 feet per second. And to be honest, was just having some pretty disappointing results on deer, to be honest. All the kind of horror stories that you hear people say from copper ammo, not a huge amount of reaction to the shot, not a great blood trail, things weren't dropping on the spot like they used to. And it sort of just put me off a little bit. At the same time, I thought, well, I don't have a lot of choice. I tried some Fox ammunition, again, same, I think 130 grain stuff, similar sort of speed, and was just, again, having the same results. So I thought, well, this is obviously just the way of the world. So almost coincidentally, really, I was looking at my 308, and the biggest criticism I have of the 308 as a caliber is it can be a bit loopy. At the same time, I've got a ballistic turret on my scope, which I know the distances for, so I can adjust for it. But as a beginner, it's perhaps not the easiest caliber to shoot with. It's not that forgiving if you do happen to get the distance wrong. So coincidentally, I was looking at how I could flatten out that trajectory curve, and I was looking online and saw 308 you could go down to 110 grain bullets. Which, if you drive those again a bit quicker, seem to give you a much flatter trajectory. And I thought, well, why not give them a go in lead? So I ended up with one of these here, 110 grain Barnes TTSX bullets. They're very distinctive, got a blue polymer tip on the front, and then cut into the sides of them are driving bands. And as you can see, I mean, when they first arrived, I thought I got the wrong caliber, because for a 308, that's a pretty small bullet. I drive these at 3,075 feet per second. Amazingly accurate. I didn't think they'd stabilise in my barrel. To be fair, probably the maximum I'd shoot out is about 250 meters, and out to that they're absolutely fine, still getting a nice tight group. 100 meters, get a half-inch group with them, absolutely fine. And the first time I went to shoot them on the fallow, I was a little bit nervous. I sort of thought, well, I'm not quite sure if this is going to drop a fallow, but plugged it in the chest and the thing dropped on the spot. And I thought, wow, okay, maybe I'll keep going with these a bit longer. And it just kept happening and happening again. They were just performing really, really, really well. And a couple of times managed to recover the spent bullets. So I don't know if you can perhaps see those, but you can see sort of awesome sort of mushroom shaping from the bullets. And if you pop them on the scales that I've got here, they're supposed to be 110 grain, and they come in the box, which most of them are, to be fair. When you pop them on the scales there, that one is 109.8 grains. This one here, 110 bang on still apparently, which I don't quite believe. But so I mean, essentially they lose the polymer tip, or well, when they go in, polymer tip is what forces or encourages them to open up like this, and they would just retain a hell of a lot of the weight as they, or pretty much all the weight, as you can see when they go straight through. I mean, in stark contrast, that's one of my old Sierra Game King bullets, which, I mean, some would argue it's mushroomed up even more, so it's in theory done even more damage and performed even better. It's supposed to be 150 grains, put it on the scales, it is 84 grains, so it's almost half its weight missing in shards of lead and fragments and bits and pieces in the carcass, which to me, I don't particularly like the idea of that, to be honest. So I'm not saying these are the answers, I'm just giving you a short sort of update of where I've got to with them, what I use, what my thoughts have been so far. As I said, I've gone from 150 grains down to 110, driving them a hell of a lot faster, and that seems to be the result for me. That's just what you've got to do to make copper work. I know other people out there will disagree, and I know there are other alternatives aside to copper. Some people are using tin now, I think. My only criticism of the Barnes TTSX bullets is the price. When I first started buying them, you could pick them up for sort of 30, 40 quid a box. You're now looking at 60 something quid a box. And there was one point this year where I just couldn't find any for love nor money anywhere. And I think there was a big sort of shipment due in from Ray Trade or something. And they eventually came back into stock in the summer. So anyway, that's been my my experiences so far. Love to know how you guys are coping with copper ammunition, whether you've made the switch yet, whether you've gone to something else like tin, I don't know. So yeah, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much.